Dale, I started the hour, it was 2-0. Insult to injury, 3-0 now against Canada. Talk to us about what it's like where you are.
Yeah, obviously there's people just pouring out of Houston Stadium right now, not the result that Canadian fans were hoping for. We have a few of them with me right now. This is Ben. He's actually from Vermont, but he's rocking the Canada jersey. Ben, how are you feeling about that match?
I'm feeling pretty disappointed. I wish we would have put the schlag on the cake, if you know what I mean. And I think that we really struggled to come up and execute in key times. We had a lot of possession today. And yeah, that's. I just want to say, bring back the Expos real quick. I respect Montreal more than any other city in the country.
I love the fact that we have an American saying "we," referring to Canada, rocking the Expos, rocking the Canada jersey as well. This is Avery. Avery's from Toronto. Avery, again, right now 3-0 Morocco, but it's been an amazing run by the men's national squad. How are you feeling?
It's incredible to make it this far, and I'm so happy that we got to make it this far and got to see Canada play, but they really needed to make it in those moments, and they just didn't, so that's disappointing, but, I mean, good for Morocco, I guess, but, like...
What's it been like for you to witness this entire run, you know, just from the group stage to LA and make it to the round of 16?
It's been incredible. It's been so cool. Canada has like really just put the like heat on and like just, oh my God, they've been so good, and then they just weren't. But it's so good still. Like, ooh, yay-ish.
It's so good still, and hopefully this is the kind of push that the Canadian men's national team we're talking about in terms of having a moment for soccer and creating soccer as part of the Canadian identity. It seems like these fans are really enjoying the World Cup run. Obviously not the result they were looking for, but again, you know, a great moment for Canadian soccer and for the men's national team.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was a performance to be proud of, and we really gave Morocco a run for their money. CBC's Dale Manektuk with the Canadian fans in Houston, Texas. Thank you so much, Dale.
Let's go! Let's go!
Hey, that's not a Moroccan flag. Okay, let's get to some more soccer analysis. Let's turn to Colin Miller. He's a former Canada men's national team captain. He's also the men's national team interim head coach, and he's joining us from Abbotsford, British Columbia. Colin, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure, Natasha. I hope you're well.
I'm not. I'm really not, Colin. Listen, okay, my executive producer is messaging me like, hey, we should be proud, don't get so down on it. But we were leading, Colin. We were really aggressive when this game started. What do you think was the turning point? When did it turn against us?
Well, I think half-time came into play, Natasha, to be honest with you. I don't think anyone would have said to you or would have been able to pick out what country was 6th in the world and what country was 30th in the world. So I think it's really, really important that we don't discourage ourselves too much here. I think we should be very proud of what's happened here with the Canadian men's national team. To finish up in the last 16 of the World Cup is absolutely fabulous. And a lot to be proud of. I thought we played very well. I thought we totally unsettled Morocco today. Got really under their skin. But when we're so far on top in terms of pressure and creating chances, I think it's critical, Natasha. You have to score at those periods of time. And I said that my brother's family's over from Scotland at the moment. I said that to him. I said we have to score here because Morocco may not be the same animal when the second half started. And then as the game progressed, okay, Morocco scores 5 minutes into the second half. We're starting to chase the game at that point. The second goal comes very much against the run of play where we get hit on the break and we're throwing players forward and we get hit with a 4v3 at the end. And I don't think Max Crepeau had any chance. Our goalkeeper had any chance on any of the goals, to be honest. And but overall, it's a strong performance from the Canadian side. I think 3-0 certainly flatters Morocco, and there's not a lot that we should be too disappointed about from our performance-wise, other than not scoring when we won.
Right, and as you rightly mentioned, Morocco's 6th in the world. We are 32nd. It was a phenomenal performance right up until the end by the Canadians. But let me ask you something I think, Colin, many are going to be asking, which is the issue of Alphonso Davies. He's sitting there. We see him on the bench. Why not bring him in?
Well, he come on, he played, 15 minutes in the last game, and I think he still didn't look himself, Natasha. And I've worked with Davies when I was the head coach of FC Edmonton when he was in our academy, and saw him enough when he's played for the Vancouver Whitecaps as our commentator. So that explosion, that first 3 or 4 yards when he's going to sprint is world class, genuinely world class speed. And we didn't quite see that the other night against South Africa. So there's obviously something not 100% right with Alphonso Davies, or else Jesse Marsch would be playing him. Canada is an entirely different team when Fonzie is playing with us. There's no doubt about that. But obviously, the medical staff and Alphonso and Jesse Marsch together have made a very conscious decision here not to risk him. And he also is going into pre-season at Bayern Munich shortly. So I think a lot of opinions have been formed here to make sure Fonzie's safe, that he's not being risked, because the last thing he wants is to go into his own club season injured from a situation where they knew the Canadian staff would have known that there was an element of risk. So I think that's what's taking place here. Fonzie's done a little bit of warming up here today. I was at the Canada-Switzerland game with my son at BC Place, and Fonzie didn't even come out to warm up at that point. So that tells me that he is still not 100% right to play at this level of football. And you're playing against, as we said, the 6th best team in the world. You can't risk that, because you risk using another substitute as well.
I completely hear that, and that makes a lot of sense. I wonder, even from a psychological perspective, if you bring on a star like Alphonso Davies, would that have at least intimidated the Moroccan side a little bit? And if you play a tactical game like that?
Yeah, I totally agree, because what it did inside the stadium at BC Place when Fonzie did come on, you could feel the lift of the crowd. You could see the players' body language change. To be more positive. I think we were chasing the game against Switzerland at that point, Natasha. But having Fonzie on the pitch, as I said earlier, there's no question he makes our team stronger. But obviously, he's not ready even to come on at such a late stage as a substitute, because that sprinting, the power that he has in his legs and hamstrings area. That's anyone who's played the game, or any athlete knows that Achilles tendon, calves, hamstrings, if those go, that it takes a long time and a very steady repair work to get them back to full fitness again. I just think they've looked after Fonzie here today. They've made a decision that he's not ready to play, not ready to enter the field at any time in the game. Because you'd think when at 1-0, with half an hour, 25 minutes to go, you throw Alphonso Davies on, and it gives everybody a lift. Everything that you said there, Natasha, was right from a psychological point of view. But Fonzie is obviously not fit enough to play.
Right. Let me ask you about, beyond him, and he gets so much of the attention, rightly so, he's such a talented player. But for you, have you been surprised by any of the Canadian players who've sort of gained a bit of traction over the course of this tournament, or who have surprised you with their skills?
Yeah, Bombito for sure is a very steady, consistent centre-back. I think the future is good for him. But Luc Diffusero, although he's at fault for a needless free kick for the first goal for Morocco, I think the young man can say he's had a very, very good, solid World Cup and some terrific appearances for Canada here. I think he's been terrific. I think Estacio as well has been very consistent for Canada, scored a good goal as well. Ali Ahmed, it was good to see Ali playing there today. But I would like to have seen him being a little bit more direct, getting at the fullback a little bit more, trying to be that little bit more creative. And overall, it's been, Canada shouldn't be based on one particular player, and what we have seen. I mean, there was a statistic that was out, Natasha, there, that Alphonso played 38% of the time since Jesse Marsch has taken over. So Canada has sort of reconfigured itself, if you like, to be, not relying on Alphonso Davies or not relying on one particular player. We don't look as big a threat when Fonzie is not playing. That's for sure. We've been on top in games. We've scored, some good goals against Qatar as well. But at the end of the game, they're down to 9 men. We were still ahead of them, of course, when it was 11v11. But I think those types of players, we have some young guys coming through as well in the programme and playing in different leagues, good leagues throughout the world. The future of our Canadian men's programme, I think, is the best that it's been for a long, long time.
What's the conversation going to be like in the locker room?
Well, I mean, I'm sure there'll be some very, very disappointed players and staff. There's an incredible amount of effort gone into getting to these players to this level of football. Same with the support, the mass support that you're hearing, you're seeing on the broadcast across the country for this national team has been absolutely fabulous. It's been mind-blowing seeing it here in Vancouver, you know, the crowds, and being down, as I said, at BC Place and seeing not just the stadium being packed, but everything around the stadium being packed and just being a sea of red. We've seen that across Canada, and it's really given the game of soccer a massive, massive boost. You know, all the professional clubs doing a great job. The grassroots clubs with the boys and girls that are coming through our programs. You know, it's the most participated sport in Canada. Lots and lots of positives have come from this. We're obviously all devastated that it didn't lead to a final 8 position in the World Cup, but I'll tell you what, there has been some big countries, bigger countries than Canada being knocked out, and would love to have been in our shoes here today. So I think we can be very, very proud of our accomplishments to this stage here. There is no shame in losing to Morocco here today with the quality that they have, but I just feel that 3-0 is an unfair reflection on the overall performance of the team today.
Colin, you actually made me feel better. I'm not as sad.
No, I have that emphasis on people there, so I try and influence people a little bit more and staying positive. And you know, I'm so proud of the team. I would have done anything to swap places rather than sitting here with the greatest respect, Natasha. I'd love to be Natasha. Sorry, I'd rather been one of those players there today.
Me too. I'd rather be there too.
Absolutely.
I would play dirty.
Yeah, I can imagine. The players, I thought, gave absolutely everything. There's nobody on the part today there that you could have said, well, he could have worked harder, he could have done this. The guys have put absolutely everything into a performance that in the first half, where I thought we should have been ahead. The second half, obviously, the Moroccan side have been given a bit of a blast by their manager, and rightly so, because Canada had them totally on the ropes. But at that point, them out, you have to have a couple of goals, and I just thought that was that killer touch, Natasha. That was the difference here today for Canada.
Colin Miller, a real pleasure to speak with you, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
You're welcome.